Alright, this is John Colo with DiscountJuicers.com. This is 2 peak horsepower, and it's a lot easier to use, so if you don't like computers and gadgets, this one's much easier. There's basically a high and a low, and on and off. So there's basically 2 speeds on this. This also has a rubber insulating pad, which does help keep down the noise a little bit. The other thing, for people that are concerned with noise, I would definitely say that the Vitamix is a little bit more quiet due to the this rubber pad here. And the carafe. The carafe overall is a thicker plastic, and now these, as I said, are both BPA-free. They're using the Eastman Triton copolymer. So actually you could see, this is the older Vitamix carafe, and this is the BPA carafe. So the polycarbonate, if you tap it, you can kind of hear how that sounds. Kind of like more tinny high pitch. If you tap this one, it's a lot lower, like a lot deeper. So it's a lot more dense material. So that's going to dampen sound a lot more. So with the Vitamix, the other thing is that they changed the container as well. So this container, basically how it would snap on is that there's these 2 clips underneath here, and here's one clip right here. You can kind of see it, the carafe top fit underneath the lip, and this for a lot of people would be a challenge to get off, because what you would have to do literally is you'd have to take your hand and pinch where that little thing is and then pull up. So that was a kind of a big pain. They've redone that now, and they have this new lid which actually has these flaps that go down, and you literally just lift up the lid, so it's a lot easier. The other thing that was improved is that now this top plug actually comes in and comes out easier, so it's not loose, whereas on the old style, this is the plug, and in many cases, and probably yours too, it just kind of fall out, and that was kind of always a pain. I never really liked that. So the carafe, a lot more dense, and if you already own a Vitamix, you could upgrade to this carafe without the blade assembly. So it's really inexpensive to upgrade to the new BPA-free carafe with the new lid. So I did a video on how to change out your blade and bearing assembly on the Vitamix, so check out YouTube for that. The RPM, so the RPMs on the Turbo Blend is 37,000 RPM, so that's how fast it's spinning around, and on the Blendtec it's 28,000. The wattage on the motor, which I think, some people like to compare wattage because, people think it's, more wattage equals better, but that's not always the case, because, it comes down to like what's more efficient. It could pull a lot of watts, but the motor could be inefficient and not work well. So like, I'm a real world test person, so let's get into this real world testing. We're going to go ahead, we have basically 1 cup of purified water and 1 apple that's been cut up, a golden delicious apple. We're going to go ahead and blend this up in the Vitamix Turbo Blend. We're going to start on low and then crank it up to high. So let's get a close-up shot on the blending up these apples. So it's on low now. Put it on, crank it up to high. And that's all we needed to, blend those apples with the water up into a liquid. So easily, if you're doing a green smoothie, you could add some greens, and it would blend all up nice and easy. Let's move over here to the Blendtec. Now we're using the 96-ounce carafe in the Blendtec, and I do like the 96-ounce carafe. If you're making large serving sizes. I mean, for the standard person, even for me, I couldn't drink a full carafe full of this. I'd be over full, but I like the 64-ounce carafe. But for some people, this is nice, has a larger volume, and as it's been said before, it's probably going to take less time to blend the same amount of ingredients. So on the Blendtec here, we're going to put it on pulse first, then we're going to ramp it up. So we'll hit pulse a little bit, then we're going to hold down the speed button. Crank that up to speed 10. It's already done, and we'll turn it off. And that's how easy it was in the Blendtec. So they're both quick. They both blend it up well. It's which one should you buy? Well, it depends. I don't know. One of the other things I like to do is I like to blend up flax seeds and grind that up into powder. So we'll go ahead and do that in both blenders here. Another thing I want to talk about that's very important when selecting any blender and any appliance actually is getting a blender with a longer warranty. So the next thing we'll talk about is the warranty, and on the Blendtec here, the HP3A, it has a 3-year warranty with a lifetime warranty on the coupling and the blade. Now let me tell you, that lifetime warranty may sound really gimmicky, and it is, because that's the thing that's least likely to go out. And let's talk about what's most likely to go out in 1 second. But so on this unit, it's a 5-year warranty on the whole unit, and this has a 3-year warranty, so definitely you get 2 more years on the Vitamix. The other thing is the durability factor. And I've been selling blenders since 1997, and I've seen many durability issues with both machines, not just one, but both machines. So we could first start off with this old Champ style carafe here. I have a fun story with this old carafe here. This is a standard carafe with the arches on the bottom, and this carafe was known for the bearing assembly, not the blade or the coupler, but the bearing assembly to go out. And for me, as somebody that eats a lot of raw foods, I would blow out about one carafe a year. Basically, the blade, the bearing assembly would go out, and what would happen is this would either get tightened up, or it just stop turning, or it'd get really loose. And the one time I was blending up a smoothie that I wanted it to happen right was fresh durian, which cost $5 a pound, and young coconuts, and I was blending it up, and it was blending fine. Then all of a sudden I look in there, and there's all these black flecks in my smoothie, and that was actually the time that my blender crap decided to go out, so I had to throw out that smoothie, and I was really pissed. So even to that day, I have a thing against the Blendtec. They did come out and improve it with a new J2 jar, so that's a new Bpa-Free jar with the new bearing assembly, and they say that's 20% better. So for me, if I used it about every year and it'd blow out, maybe it'd last a year and a couple months now under heavy use. But I have actually seen that it's going to last a little bit longer than that depending on your use. So one of the things that I recommend is that everybody buy a second carafe, so that all your usage is not going on one carafe, but now for breakfast you use this one, for dinner you use this one, and guess what? Now both your carafes are going to last twice as long, and if one does happen to go out, you're still going to have that backup carafe to use. I can definitely say on the Vitamix though, this carafe is and the bearing assembly is much more durable. So there goes the top. So it's much more durable, so it's going to last a lot longer, at least twice as long, if not more, than the Blendtec carafe. So I do like that. It's a lot more heavier duty. The thing with that is that, this carafe is actually much less expensive. Oh, and this blade and bearing assembly is not removable. So once this goes bad, you need to really chuck the whole carafe. And with this carafe, you could literally just take out the part that goes bad and replace it. So you could replace the bearing assembly only and keep your blade, or buy the blade and the bearing and just put that in. But that being said, the blade and bearing assembly is about as much as the whole carafe on this guy. So depending on which way you want to go. So I mean, not that I sell for people out of the country, but if you're worried and about maintenance issues, definitely go with the Vitamix, because you're going to have a lot less problems. Also, this is just a motor with on and off switch, and so that's barely going to fail. And I have had a few issues with the computer controls in the Blendtec going out. I actually had 2 units myself go out on me. But much like a flat screen TV, once it's working, it's always going to work. But there may be more issues because there are more things to fail than with the Vitamix. So let's go ahead and blend up these flax seeds next and see how easy that does. So what I like to do on that is really just crank up the blender to high. It's on high. We'll crank it up. It literally just makes the flax seeds float on top. It's going so fast, it just makes the flax seeds. All right. Basically, it spins. The blades are spinning so fast, it basically makes the flax seeds float on top of the blades, and comes down and just makes them into a nice powder. And so let's go ahead and do the same thing with the Blendtec. We're going to crank that up to high speed here. Alright, so they both were easily able to turn flax seeds into powder. Just another good test. So, you saw some of the differences between the carafe weights, the sizes, the power. I mean, they're both very similar. You couldn't go wrong with either one. So depending if you want a longer warranty, this has a 2-year longer warranty. The shorter carafe, easier to scoop out. Many different things to think about when you're buying a blender, but you can't go wrong with either one. I kind of personally like, in some cases I like this unit because it is computer controlled. You can hit a button, it blends for 50 seconds, you walk out of the room, and then you come back and it turns itself on. So it's actually a smart blender, and I do like that feature. And I do like the feature that you could scoop things out of here with a spatula and get all your macadamia cream sauce out fairly easily. And why I like the Vitamix is because, it's really a lot easier to use. There's an on and off switch. I like the carafe a little bit more because of the blade. The blade's actually really sharp on this, and actually I find that, if you want a really smoother texture, or, without any kind of pieces in there, I find the Vitamix works a lot better than the Blendtecs, for me personally. So lately I've been using more of the Vitamix carafe. But so, each one has its pluses and minuses, and only you'll know which blender is right for you. Hopefully you've learned more about the different blenders today. And this is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.